Long ago, when dragons still stirred the clouds above Dyviet, and cranes carried messages between mountains and seas, there was a kingdom blessed with peace and song. Its queen, gentle and kind, prayed for a daughter who would inherit not her beauty, but her compassion. One night, as she prayed by the Jiengmuk, the sacred jade well, a silver carp leapt from the water and turned into a fairy in white robes. The fairy said, "You shall bear a daughter touched by the moon. But remember, the brighter the moon, the deeper the shadow. When she turns 16, beware the spindle of fate beneath the banyan tree." Then the fairy vanished into mist, leaving ripples glowing like stars upon the water. Months later, a daughter was born under the full moon. Her cry was soft, like a flute echoing over rice fields. They named her Miên, meaning the dream of summer. The princess grew in grace and gentleness. She loved the village children, fed the cranes by the river, and often sat beneath the great banyan tree at dusk, listening to old stories from the wind. But when she was 16, strange omens appeared. The moon turned crimson, the banyan tree shed no leaves though the season had passed. The royal astrologer warned, "The wheel of karma turns, the time foretold draws near." One night, Miên wandered beyond the palace walls to watch fireflies by the river. There, under the shadow of the banyan tree, she saw an old woman spinning silk. Her eyes were hidden beneath her hair. Her spindle shone like moonlight. "Grandmother," said the princess softly, "what are you weaving?" The woman smiled. "Dreams, my child. Would you like to see your own?" Curiosity overcame fear. Miên reached out to touch the glowing silk. The moment her finger brushed it, the spindle pricked her skin. A drop of blood fell onto the earth. The banyan shuddered. The moon above dimmed, and the entire kingdom fell into silence. Men and beasts, rivers and birds, even the sound of the wind, all sank into a timeless sleep. 100 years passed. The once golden palace was swallowed by roots and vines. The banyan tree grew vast, its roots cradling the sleeping princess like gentle arms. Villagers forgot the kingdom's name, calling the place simply the Valley of Dreams. One spring morning, a wandering scholar named Lin Kuan arrived at the valley. He was a poet seeking wisdom, carrying nothing but a bamboo flute and a tattered book of legends. Villagers warned him, "Do not enter the valley at night. It is said the moon never moves there." But curiosity led him onward. Under the silver banyan, he found the princess sleeping among petals and moss. Her face was untouched by time, her lips curved as if she were listening to some faraway song. Quan whispered, "In dreams, she has waited longer than empires. Yet she still smiles, as though she knows the ending." He sat beside her and played his flute, a tune so tender that the forest held its breath. The melody wound around the tree like mist, touching her fingertips. In that moment, Miên soul stirred. She dreamed of a young man walking beneath her banyan tree, his song calling her through centuries of silence. The fairy of the jade well appeared within her dream, saying, "The curse was never death, only forgetfulness. Only the sound of love, not passion, but remembrance, can wake the sleeping heart." Miên reached toward the sound. The moon rippled. Her eyes fluttered open. The forest exhaled.
The rivers began to flow again. Lotus flowers bloomed overnight on the jade well. When she awoke, Miên found Lin Quan kneeling beside her, his flute in hand. She smiled faintly. "You came from far away." He bowed his head. "I followed a dream that felt like a memory." They walked together through the ruined palace where cranes circled above and moonlight danced upon broken tiles. Everywhere she stepped, moss turned to grass, and flowers opened as if remembering her. At last they reached the jade well. Its waters shimmered with her reflection, and something more. She saw not just her face, but all the dreams she had carried, the longing of her people, the sorrow of time, the quiet patience of the banyan tree. Tears welled in her eyes. She said, "I slept so that the world could rest from its own noise." "And now?" Quan asked softly. She looked at him and smiled. "Now I awake, so it may dream again, but without forgetting." The fairy appeared once more, her white robes glimmering like mist. "The curse is broken not by touch, but by truth. You have learned that to awaken is not to end the dream, but to see through it." As dawn rose, the fairy lifted her hands, and the banyan leaves turned into cranes that soared across the sky. Miên and Lin Quan stood side by side, watching the light spread over the mountains. When the sun reached its peak, she turned to him and said, "The dream was beautiful. So is this." Then her body shimmered and dissolved into petals of white lotus that drifted into the wind. Ling Quan watched in silence. He placed his flute beside the jade well and whispered, "Sleep well, Princess Miên. You were the dream that awakened the dreamer." Centuries later, villagers still tell the story of the princess beneath the banyan moon. They say that on nights when the wind is soft and the moon stands still, you can hear the faint sound of a bamboo flute and see a single white lotus bloom upon the old banyan's roots.